your brain activity starts declining. So I'm explaining something, but you've already kind of zoned out to a different universe. Right now, your brains are a little bit fresh, so I can capture some of the more important takeaways that we're going to need over and over again that are tricky. So let me go over them now, and then inshallah we'll get into today's work, okay? So the first thing I want you to know is, just as a reminder, some things about fully, partly, and non-flexible. This is a quick review of this, not everything, but this concept, okay? Fully, partly, and non-flexible. So what you need to know about fully flexible is that it's page 6 is fully flexible. And what that means is you can have the every status shows, and you can have light or heavy. That's what that means, okay? So that's basically most words in Arabic, 99%. This is 99% of the language. So the language is the way it is because of fully flexible words, okay? And then there are two exceptions to this. The two exceptions are partly flexible words and non-flexible words. But this time I'll go in the order, the more logical order. I'll start with partly flexibles. There are 7 categories, but 2 of them, 2 are places and non-Arabs. Okay, but that doesn't mean that's all there is. How many categories are there? 7, and I'm only giving you 2, and there are 5 more. When you absorb this well, over time, you can learn the other 5 categories. They're not our headache right now, okay? Now, places and non-Arabs have the same problem, and the way to summarize the problem is this. That's the summary of the problem. If you just remember that, then you don't have to write long notes. What do I mean by I mean, rafa' is nasab is and jar is also Now, if I was writing this in detail, I would say partly flexibles are always light, right? But that's the long way of saying it. What's the easy way? Instead of you say what? Instead of an, you say And I would also say the partly flexibles do not accept kasra. They don't accept the e sound at the end. That would be a whole other sentence. But I didn't have to write all that. I just said meaning rafa' gets nasab gets and jar also gets okay? So partly flexibles. Makkatu, makkata, makkata, yathribu, yathriba, yathriba, as opposed to muslimun, musliman, and muslimin. You get 3. Or you get the light versions, muslimu, muslima, muslimi. You get 3 versions. So far, so good? Okay? Now, then there's non-flexibles. Okay? I mistyped here. Okay, non-flexibles are random words, so I cannot give you categories. At least I was able to give you for partly flexibles, okay, it's going to be places, and it's going to be non-Arabs, and 5 other categories. Non-flexibles, it's just the Arabs decided some words are non-flexible. We didn't really have a say, or you can try to discover each case why it is like that. And when you get very advanced in Arabic grammar, you can get there, but it's really not really super relevant information. It's cool information, but it doesn't really, I call it NPR information. If you ever listen to NPR in the afternoon and they get a guy that's like done a PhD on ant farms and he's telling you all kinds of things about ants, that's pretty cool, but I'm just gonna spray them. Like, so grammar is like that. Grammar, you can get to the point, but behind it can be a lot of discussion and detail and long conversations. And if you want to do the PhD in ant farms, cool. But this is not the time for that. You understand? So we can keep things simple for our discussions. So they're random words, but the key, the common denominator is the rafa' and the nasab and the jar look the same. That's the key. And how will you know? I'll tell you. Hey, by the way, this word is non-flexible. The moment I say this word is non-flexible, what are you supposed to think? I don't know. It could be rafa, it could be nasab, and it could be jar, which means I have to look for other clues to figure out the answer. If I gave you muslimun, immediately you can tell me it's rafa. Okay? If I give you yusufa, second category, you say, I have a 50% chance of getting it right. It could be nasab or it could be jar. But if I gave you dhalika, non-flexible, dhalika, then I say I have a 33% chance of guessing correctly because it could be rafa and it could be nasab and it could be jar. So I'm going to need some more clues from around, not the word itself, from around the word to figure out what this is doing, which is actually similar to English. If I say Yusuf, tell me if Yusuf, in English, Joseph, is a rafa, nasab, or jar. Is it a doer, is it a detail, or is it an after of? You're like, give me a sentence first. I can't just say Joseph, I'll tell you. I say Joseph spoke to his brothers. Joseph spoke to his brothers. Now you have context. He did the act of what? So he's a doer. But if, for example, the brothers met Joseph, they met Joseph. Who's doing the act? And this is a detail regards to the act. So that would be Joseph is nasab. Or if I say the brothers of Joseph were jealous. The brothers of Joseph were jealous. It's after of, isn't it? So how would you figure out what a word status is in English? Context, isn't it? It's context. So in Arabic, we have a cool feature. Even without the context, you can tell the status. In the fully flexibles, you can kind of tell the status in the partly flexibles, and you can absolutely not tell the status in the non-flexibles. So the question is, how will you find the answer for the non-flexibles? What do you say now? How do you find that? Context. And so as we learn more, we'll figure out how to learn from the context. What context clues are there to get us the answer? Is this clear for flexibility? You guys are okay with this? Okay. Now, another quick thing that we didn't fill in last time. There are 4 reasons to make an ism light. It's in your notes. You can find it. And it's empty, isn't it? But first, before I write the answers here, I want you to remember what is light and heavy anyway. So let's ask ourselves, as a recap, a fundamental question. Light. What are some things we know about light versus heavy? Number 1, normally, every ism should be good, which is page 6. This is why we memorize page 6. That is our standard for what a heavy ism looks like. Whether it's the first chart or the second chart or even the third chart we didn't cover, every word there on page 6 is heavy. Every word on page 6 is heavy. Maybe you should even write that down. I know grammar, I know. Every word on page 6 is what? Heavy. Second. How to make light. How do you make light? Take off. I call it the extra N sound. I call it not the N sound, the extra N sound. Okay, so watch this, just as an experiment. Muslimuna. Hold on. We're gonna make it bigger so you guys can see. Okay, Muslimuna. Do you see an extra N sound? Where's the extra N sound? So the light version of this will be what? Muslimu. The noon is gone. If I say another word, if I say, where did you go? Muslimuna. If I say Muslimani. Is there an extra N sound? Where is it? So get rid of that and you get the light version. What is the light version of Muslimani? Muslima. Very good. Okay. Let me try another one. Read that. Nu'man, my name. Nu'manu. What's the light version? Noma. So my problem is not with the N sound. My problem is with the extra N sound. Is there an extra N sound on this? No. So don't go chopping off more noons. La tusrif fil qatl. Don't go overboard in the killing. You have no problem with this noon. Nu'manu. It's already light. By the way, I happen to be partly flexible. I need to see a chiropractor. Okay, but grammatically, yes, I'm partly flexible. What about Fir'aunu? I make it light, get rid of the noon, and his name becomes Fir'aun. Yes? Why can't I get rid of this noon? Because it's not an, it may be a noon, but it's not an extra noon, is it? Okay, what about, yeah. That's right. So what do I mean? What do I mean by extra noons? I mean all the N sounds you hear on page 6. Every word you say on page 6 seems to have an N sound at the end, doesn't it? Muslimun, muslimani, muslimu, na, muslimatun. Everything has an N somewhere. That's the N you have to get rid of to make it light. Not any N. Harun, should I get rid of this N to make it light? No, it's already light. This is already light. Is that clear? Okay, so what about in Allah's name, Ar-Rahman? There's no extra N. By the way, we can't even say light and heavy right now because there's an al there. We don't care about that question, remember? Good. Okay, so now let's come back to the question. So we know there has to be 4 reasons to make a word light. Let's come back to that now. Now we're ready for that. Number 1, partly flexibles. Do you know what that is? Give me an example of a part. What are the 2 categories you know of partly flexibles? Places and non-Arab names. And what did you learn about them? U, a. Isn't that light? That's category 1. I taught it to you without telling you. Okay. 2. When you call someone, you don't say ya waladun. You say ya waladu. Ya bintu, Ya Muhammadu, not Ya Muhammadun, Ya Muhammadu, Ya Zaidu, Ya Ubaidu. Okay? You make it light. When you call someone, they have to be light. Even if you're calling Allah, Ya Rabbu, not Ya Rabbun, Ya Rabbu. It has to be light. Did we already kind of know that, but we didn't make the connection? Right? When you say absolutely no, fill in the blank, absolutely no ism, like la ilaha or la ikrah. Remember these? When you say absolutely no something, I give you the example of la bay'un wa la khullatun. When you say absolutely no, what was the difference? You were making those words light, like we say in the Shahada. So you don't have to know how to write Arabic. You can write it like this, like La ilaha. La ilaha. I want to share a story with you that almost caused me an ulcer yesterday. Brilliant, students have questions. It's okay. I love their questions, but sometimes your questions remind me. There's something called selective listening. Do you know what that is? Selective listening? When you hear part of something, but you don't hear the other part of something, but you're really convinced you understand all of something. right? Really dangerous, isn't it? So when I was explaining this, I said you put la, and you put an ism, and the ism is light, and then it becomes absolutely not. Somebody sent me an ayah of the Quran and said, look, it's heavy over here, but you said it means there's some room. How can there be any room? And the ayah that they sent me didn't have la, it had a fi'l, but they just saw any heavy, and they said, you said when it's heavy, there's room for exception, and when it's not heavy, then it's supposed to be absolutely no. Help me understand this ayah, Ustad. So I had to explain to them by way of my trolling heritage. I said, okay, so imagine I'm a teacher and I told you, when you learn to drive, make sure you stop at every what color light? Make sure you stop at every red light. And then one of you students email me the next day, Ustad, I was at a restaurant and I passed by a table and somebody was pouring ketchup and I saw the red and you told me to stop every time I see red, so I'm still standing here. Can I go home now? You know what that's called? Selective what? Selective listening. Okay, I did say red, but there was more to that sentence. And it had to do with red lights, and it had to do with cars. It didn't have to do with ketchup. Or every time you see red, Ustad Noman said, stand there. It's not what I said. So with grammar, sometimes I tell you something in a very specific context, but with selective hearing, what happens to you? You say, oh, now I know. Every time I see this, I'm going to do, no, easy. First, understand carefully in what limited context I'm giving you a lesson before you jump to conclusions. Anyway, how many reasons are there supposed to be for making something light? How many do we have so far? The fourth one is mudaf must be light. Yesterday, before we ended class, I said this crazy thing. Mudaf. And his cousin. What's his cousin's name? Mudaf ilayh. What's a mudaf? What's the simple definition of a mudaf? No, that's not the definition. That's the rules. What's the definition? What is it? What is a mudaf? It's the ism before the of. Whatever's before the of has to be light. Has to be light. Okay. Now you know the 4 reasons why a word should be light. So if it's an ism, because there are 3 kinds of words in Arabic. What are the 3 kinds of words in Arabic? Ism, fi'l, and harf. You're reading the Fatiha. Every word, before you decide to figure out what to do with that word, you have to first decide, am I looking at an ism? Am I looking at a fi'l? Or am I looking at a harf? Okay, if I tell you this word is an ism, this word is an ism, and then you discover that that ism is light. If you figure out that that ism is light, then you must know why is it light. And how many reasons will you find for it to be light? These 4. It's got to be one of these. It has to be. It'll fit one of these. Otherwise, it should be what? It should be heavy. Okay? Now you know why sometimes there is un and sometimes there's u. Sometimes there's in, sometimes there's i. Okay? All right, so that's another bit of, we already covered this, but now you're rethinking through it, yeah? Okay, so now another piece about number, a quick review on number. What I want you to remember about number is not everything, because you already know una, ina. You reviewed that enough times. Atun, atin, you've reviewed that enough times. Plural because the Arab said so is also easy. It's just 3 words that are plural because the Arab said so. Nas, what are the words? Nas, what else? Qawm and Qad. So when I say number, the problem part is not 5 items. The problem part is only 2 items, which are human, broken, plural, and non-human, broken, plural. If you understand this part, the rest of it is piece of cake anyway. Okay, so let's focus on the hardest parts, make them easier, and then the whole subject becomes easier. I've actually realized I need to do this with my Quran study too. So I was just talking to my research team today that I think over the next year, we're going to have to pick the hardest portions of the Quran to study and focus all of our energies on them, and then do the rest of the Quran. Because that's where people avoid. My own observation is when people talk about the Quran, give a khutbah, give a lecture, teach a class, whatever, they avoid all the hard parts of the Quran. Let's just talk about the skies and the earth. Let's talk about the mountains and the trees, which are in the Quran. Talk about the mountains and trees. That's cool. But then there's tough subject matter in the Quran, isn't it? Women's rights, not easy to talk about. War, not easy to talk about. Slavery, not easy to talk about. The wars in Medina, not easy to talk about. But they are big subjects in the Quran, aren't they? They require deep study, don't they? So if we say we're proud of our book and we believe in our book, let's not try to circumvent the tough stuff. Let's take it head on and really try to understand it and humble ourselves. So inshallah, make dua, I'm able to do some justice to that. And the team is excited about it too. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So human broken plural versus non-human broken plural. First of all, probably helpful to know what is a broken plural. Let me give you a new definition today. If it is plural without being from the other three, it is a broken plural. What do I mean, the other three? It's not una, ina, ina. That's one. It's not atun, atin, atin. That's two. It's not what else? It's not nas, qawm, and qarn, but it's still plural. If it's still plural without being any of those three, it's got to be a broken plural. Okay? You can only recognize it by knowing the what? Yeah, knowing the meaning. You can't recognize it otherwise. Sorry. Ustad, can you give me a clue? How can I tell if this word is a broken plural? I cannot. I cannot do so. What's really cool, now that you're somewhat basic level Arabic and you're growing, I will tell you of a resource that you can start using that's accessible to everyone. It's called Quran.com. Quran.com, and under Quran.com, you will find a source called Corpus. Write that word down, Corpus. C-O-R-P-U-S, Corpus. Okay? It's not super academic, but at your level, it's very helpful. You know what that is? If you're reading a word in the Quran and you wonder, I wonder if this is an ism, and if it's an ism, I wonder what its grammar is. What are its four properties? What is it doing in the sentence? You can click on the ayah, on the word, and it will give you its grammar. It's like a grammar answer key, corpus on Quran.com. Sometimes it's not very exhaustive, not all the meanings are there, but at a basic level, it's a good, easy answer key for you if you're engaging in the work. Now the thing, I'm going to warn you, some of you are like, Alhamdulillah, the website exists, and the knowledge already exists on Amazon Web Services. It's being hosted on the cloud. So I'm going to download the app and I'm going to have it. Alhamdulillah, the ilm is now in my possession. It's really nice that this knowledge is available on an app. The only thing is it's still not where. So some people get really happy when they download a bunch of stuff. Which book should I read? Which app should I get? Oh, I know, but this page too, this PDF too. I had students that downloaded every PDF, every video series, every this, every that. Have you gone through any of it? No, but I have a huge collection. Those it's huge. Oh, you should see my collection. So you'll feel good. It feels good to know someone knows the answer. But this is about you doing the work, so don't become complacent. Anyway, so you can only recognize it by knowing the meaning. Corpus might help you here. You're stuck on a word. You're like, let me find out if this is a broken plural. And then the meaning tells you for that word, oh, this is a plural. Oh, okay, this word is plural, right? So there are tools now that can help you with that as you're learning your grammar. Eventually, I want you to use none of these tools. Actually, I want you to use none of them. I want you to just be independent and engage the text directly, right? So is everybody clear about what a broken plural is? What is it? That at least we know. What's the difference between human and non? Well, human is for humans. Humans and who else? Jinns, angels. And a non-human is for non-humans. Anything that's not the first three. That's all. Now, if you want to summarize what the Arabs do, so I'm going to put this here, the only crazy Arabic rule where grammar and meaning contradict. The grammar is saying one thing, the meaning is saying something else. Usually, grammar and meaning go together, but in some cases, grammar and meaning contradict. So, this is the only crazy Arabic rule where grammar and meaning contradict. So, how do they contradict? If you see a human broken plural, you might see them talking about it as a she or a they. And if you see a non-human broken plural, they'll always talk about it as a she. In more technical language, she and they is shortcuts. But if you don't want to use the shortcut, the full version is she means either singular feminine, that means that's the she, or plural plus reality. Plural, what do I mean by reality? If it's a broken plural for women, it's going to be plural feminine. If it's a broken plural for men, it's going to be plural masculine. So reality means, what are we talking about? If it's going to be angels, which one's it going to be? Masculine. If it's going to be prophets, what's it going to be? Masculine. If it's going to be believing women, what's it going to be? Feminine. That's what I mean. I don't mean plural and feminine or plural and masculine. I said plural and reality. And if you don't have a good grasp on reality, see me after class. We will discuss. That's a separate problem. Okay? But when it comes to non-human broken plurals, you basically only get what? She. She. Even if it's a plural. The thing is, why did I say that grammar and meaning contradict? Actually, in translation, both of the above are they. But in grammar, they can be she. Meaning the grammar does not affect the translation. The translation is not going to say she. The translation is going to say what? They. That's why this is a confusing rule. Okay? So that's a quick recap of broken plurals. Okay? Now, was this helpful? So these are some of the hard parts of what we did so far. Not everything we did, but some of the pain points of what we've done so far. Okay? Now we're done with 4 properties of the ism, which were what? What were the 4 properties? Status, number, gender, and good. We're done with the 4 properties. That was last semester. That's ancient history. Today is a new day, new semester. It's called the 5 fragments. It's called 5 fragments. Last semester was called what? 4 properties. This semester is called 5 fragments. Let's first understand what is a fragment. The definition of fragment: more than a word, but less than a sentence. That's a fragment. It's not just a word, it has to be at least 2 words. It can be more than 2 words too, but it's still not a complete sentence. If I say, I am loud, I am loud, is that a full sentence? Yes, it is. Some people are like, no. You are loud and proud. Now it's a full sentence. No, I am loud is a full sentence. But if I say, nice car, is that a full sentence? Okay. If I say, that is a nice car, is that a full sentence? Yeah. If I say, the messenger of Allah, is that a full sentence? I don't know, you guys, this is an English problem now. I can come back for a 10-day English program. Is the messenger of Allah a sentence or a fragment? Fragment. And in Arabic, to really get far, To start with, you should know 5 fragments. 5 fragments. 5 fragments cover 70% of the landscape. 70% of the real estate of fragments is these 5. There's another 5 that cover the 30%, that's more advanced. But these 5, 70%. You're good. Every page has one of these 5. The first of these fragments is called the mudaf and the mudaf ilayh, and together they are called the idafa. Mudaf and mudaf ilayh are called idafa. We started talking about the mudaf and mudaf ilayh yesterday, okay? Today, before the Maghrib prayer, we have about 40 or so minutes. I need to make sure your mudaf ilayh is solid. These next 40 minutes, I really want to make sure your mudaf ilayh is solid. So, I'm going to give you some notes on mudaf and mudaf ilayh. In fact, I think they are in your notes already. So let me open them and show them to you. Okay, it's should be page 21. Fragments. Primary rules for the idafa, it says on top. What does idafa mean? Mudaf and mudaf ilayh together. Primary rules for this fragment. Number 1, the mudaf, which is the word before the of, should be 2 things. What are 2 things does it say? It's light and no alif lam. We discussed this yesterday? Okay, good. The mudaf ilayh, the word after of, should be jar status, which is kind of something we already knew. How did I define jar in the beginning? I said jar means after of, and now mudaf ilayh is after of. So jar and mudaf ilayh are like 2 words for the same thing almost. Jar is a little more than that, but for now it's okay. So every mudaf ilayh is jar. Every mudaf ilayh is jar. Okay. Third thing, what does it say? No long distance relationship. Here's what that means. You can't be reciting Surah Al-Baqarah and say, I found a mudaf in ayah number 1. And then in ayah number 286, you found the mudaf ilayh for that. No. They have to be what? Immediately next to each other. You cannot put something else between a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh. If they're not together, if you found light, no alif lam over here, and 3 words later, you find a jar over there, no, that's not a mudaf ilayh. They have to be together. They have to be together, okay? Now, it says the last property of the mudaf type is dictated by the mudaf ilayh. Let me explain what this means. An ism has how many properties? An ism has how many properties? Okay, let's do a practical example so you understand this point, then we'll read it again. We've done Rasulullah enough times, let's do Deenu al-Muslimina. Deenu al-Muslimina. Deen means religion, and al-Muslimin means us, Muslims, right? So let's ask ourselves, is this a mudaf and mudaf ilayh or not first? Let's ask that first. How do we go about that investigation? How do you do it? Check for mudaf. Does it qualify? What are the 2 things you look for? Good. Light and no al. Okay, it qualifies. I'm going to look at the next word now. Is it jar? Well, first of all, to tell status, first you ask the first question. What's the first question? Sound or combo? And we look for combo for it. Is this combination? Yes. Ina. What does ina tell you? Plural nasab or jar. But if you have a mudaf ready, then it's jar. You give benefit of the doubt in Islam, you give benefit of the doubt in Arabic. If they look married, they are married. Okay? Benefit of the doubt. So deen is mudaf and al-Muslimin is mudaf ilayh. Okay, now, I want 4 properties. This is now the work. I want 4 properties of the word deen. I'm going to write it in English so it's easier to type. I want 4 properties of it, because an ism should have how many? 4 properties. What are they? It's rafa'. How did you know? U sound. Good. Singular, pair, or plural? Singular. I agree. Gender, masculine or feminine? How do you know it's masculine? No sign of feminine. Masculine. My final question is what? There's status, I answered that. Number, I answered that. Gender, I answered that. What's the last question? Okay, type is two things, either proper or common. Proper or common. Okay, well, the problem with a mudaf, which is what I wrote in item number 7 in your notes yesterday, open it up again and read it to me. What did I make you write as item number 7 in 7 kinds of things are proper? It was item number 7 in 7 kinds of things are proper. The word before of is proper if the word after of is proper. Actually, now you know how to rewrite that. You don't have to say the word before of, and you don't have to say the word after of. What's a new way of writing that sentence? The mudaf is proper if the mudaf ilayh is proper. You with me? The mudaf is proper if the mudaf ilayh is proper. You guys got it? Okay, well, according to that rule, Dinu cannot tell me that answer because Dinu is a mudaf. And the mudaf says, I cannot tell you if I'm proper or common. You have to go ask my mudaf ilayh. So where do I get the type from? The type means common or proper. Where do I get it from? I get it from the mudaf ilayh. And what's my answer here? Based on what? Al. Ooh, that's a stylish proper. Okay, proper. Now go back to these notes. The last property of the mudaf, type, is dictated by the mudaf ilayh. Is that making sense now? Okay. 3 properties you can tell. The 4th one, you got to go to the mudaf ilayh. Is that true for every ism? For every ism, you can only tell 3 properties? No, that would be selective listening. Which ism is only able to give you 3 properties and not give you the 4th one? Only mudafs have that problem. Mudaf has the problem of saying, listen, go ask mudaf ilayh, then come back to me. Okay? Both the mudaf and the mudaf ilayh should be what? They should be isms. Because there's 3 kinds of words in Arabic, aren't they? What are they? Ism, fi'il, and harf. For you, both of them have to be isms. When you get a little older, I'll show you some other stuff. Yes? Dinul Muslimin. Okay, let's try it. You guys know the surah, فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ. Anybody know it? فَمَن يَعْمَلْ, let me type it. مِثْقَالَ. Go on. Nice. Hufad over here. مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. Isn't it? Okay, tell me if mithqala looks like a mudaf. You have to prove it to me. It's light. Okay, fine. If you say it's light, I would believe you if you know how to make it heavy. Mithqalan. Good. So it is light. It doesn't have al. Looks like a mudaf to me. Dharratin. Is it? Because if it was nasab, it would have been dharratan. If it was rafa', it would have been. Okay. Now I want 4 properties of mithqal. 4 properties of mithqal. Okay, let's do it. What's the status? Nasab. Nasab, why? Oh, sound. Oh, yeah. Rafa. La, right? La is Rafa? No? Okay. Nasab. Singular? Oh, yeah, singular, pair, or plural. You don't know the vocabulary, I'm telling you it's singular. Because if you don't know the vocabulary, it might be a tricky broken plural. Remember that? You don't know that, I'm telling you it's singular. Just that's on me. Okay. Masculine or feminine? No signs of feminine, so I'm going to go with good. Masculine. 1 question left. Where do I get the type from? Why am I going to the mudaf ilayh for type? Do I do that for every ism? Only for mudaf. So mudaf says, hey, what type of person I am is determined by the missus. My personality has been overshadowed by her existence. So she is what? Dharratin. How do you know it's common? There are 7 kinds of words that are proper. Is it any of those? It's not a name. It doesn't have al. Easy one. The easiest answer is it doesn't have al, and it's normally heavy. So this must be common. This is common. Okay? Go to page, let's see. No, we don't do basic kinds of idafa yet. We don't do that yet. Hold on. Go to page 23, I think it is. Yes. Yes. 23. Arabic is really not that hard. It's really not that hard. I will. Builds character. Go ahead. Excellent question. When you have a mudaf ilayh, is the mudaf always first? The mudaf ilayh always second? In Arabic, always. In English, no. In Arabic, you say Rasulu and then Allahi. In Arabic, in English, you can say the messenger of Allah, or you can say Allah's messenger. You can flip it in English, but your Arabic mind should be able to unflip that and go back to the mudaf ilayh order. Arabs don't do that. Arabs don't mess with the order of the mudaf ilayh. Mudaf is always first, mudaf ilayh is always second. You got lucky that time, that was not a troll question. Okay. يَدْخُلَ الْجَنَّةَ. I want to know and I don't expect you to know any Arabic before this. You don't even know what these words mean. It's okay. Jannah, you hopefully know what that means. But يَدْخُلَ, from what I just taught you, does it look like it has al on it? Does it look like it has, is heavy? So maybe, based on what you know right now, maybe that's a mudaf. Okay, you work with that assumption and you go to the next word. What's the next word? What status is al-jannata? It's nasab. So is this a mudaf ilayh? No, it's not a mudaf ilayh. It's something else. You will be surprised to know there's lots of things in the Quran that are not mudaf ilayh. I know that's heartbreaking because you just learned mudaf ilayh, so you were hoping to find it in every word of the Quran. You're a mudaf ilayh, and you're a mudaf ilayh. No, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be sparse. So this one does not qualify as a mudaf ilayh. It's good Arabic. It's just not Arabic you know yet. And it's definitely not mudaf ilayh. Here's a skill I want you to know. If you really want to build your knowledge of Arabic based on my logic, my logic, I'm weird. I teach Arabic in a weird way. But this works. It worked for me. It did wonders for me when I was trying to study this stuff. I told myself something. I don't know what this is, but I sure know what it's not. I'll say that again. I don't know what this is, but I definitely know what it's not. That logic, man, it solved so many problems for me. Because then I became comfortable with saying, I don't know what this is, and I don't know what this is. But I do know, the few things I do know, it's not one of them. It's not one of them. And it started creating what I like to call a process of elimination. And then fewer and fewer things were left to eliminate on the page of a Quran, right? A single page. I was like, oh, I don't know what that is, but I do know what that is. So I don't know what this is. I need to eliminate this problem. I need to figure out what this is, right? So this logic, if you want to write it down, it will help you. I don't know what this is, but I do know what it's not. That's a thought process I want you to keep with you even after this class. It'll help a lot with your analysis. Okay, we're going to skip burhanakum. Let's try a trick question. Kuntum sadiqina. Kuntum, let me rewrite it so you can see the haraka. It should be like this. Kuntum sadiqina. Kuntum. Okay. Let me ask you a hard question. What's the status of kuntum? What's the status? Rafa, nasab, or jar? Look, how do you tell status? What are the ways to tell status? Go back to what I taught you. What did I teach you? You can tell ending sound. How many ending sounds are there? Un, an, in. Or, u, a, i. Or combination. Ani, aini, aini, una, ina, ina. Does this have kuntum? Does it have any of that? You know what? I don't know what this is, but it's not an ism. I don't know what this is. Remember what I told you? What was the logic? I don't know what this is, but I do know what it's. Now, I don't know what this is, but it's not an ism. Why is it not an ism? Because an ism has to have status. And status has to have ending sound or ending combination. If it doesn't have any of that stuff, you're not an ism, bro. And Kuntum says, you got me. I'm a fi'l. Which we'll do in 3 days. Do you see how that logic helps? Now, I don't even have to ask about sadiqina. I don't care anymore. Because if you're not a mudaf, we're done. This relationship is over before it even began. Okay? It was dead from the start. Arba'ata ashhurin. Let's see if we can break this up. Arba'ata. Follow the process. Is it a mudaf? Yes, young man. Which is it? No or yes? Because you said both with a lot of confidence. You remind me of someone I knew. Absolutely not. What do you mean? Yes. Follow the process. What do you look for in a mudaf? Is it light? How's it light? It has a ta marbuta on it. How's that light? Yeah, that has nothing to do with light or heavy. It's just messing with you. There's no extra end sound, so it's light. Does it have al on it? But it has ar on it. That's not good enough? No. It's light, no al. Looks like a mudaf to me. What about ashhurin? Are you guaranteeing me that it's jar? How? I have a problem though. Ashhurin is heavy. Ashhurin is heavy. Isn't that a problem? What do you mean? I told you it has to be light. Oh, the husband has his responsibilities. The wife has her responsibilities. The mudaf can't go to the mudaf ilayh. Bro, I'm light. Why are you heavy? What's up? It's not working because I have to be light and you can get to be heavy. He says, I'm a mudaf ilayh. That's what happens. All I got to do is be what? All I got to do is be jar. I could be singular. I could be pair. I could be plural. I could be masculine, feminine. I could be proper. I could be what? Common. I could be anything. Only one condition on me. Don't go near that one tree. What's the one tree? Just be jar. Don't be rafa or nasab. That's all. And you're a good mudaf ilayh. And the mudaf says, wow, I have 2 rules though. He has 1 rule. The mudaf has 2 rules. What are the 2 rules? That's it. Once you get that, you're good. Somebody read this for me out loud. Okay, this is especially for those of you that come from Taj Company Limited Mushaf reading. That says Al-Hajji. It does not say Al-Hajja. It says Al-Hajji. Why? Because the kasra, the E, is under the shadda. So it doesn't have to be under the letter for it to be E. It could be under the W to also be E. Okay, so some people look at that and say Al-Hajja. No, Al-Hajji. Okay, Yawma. Is it light and does it have al? So it's mudafing. It's mudafing. Is the al-hajj mudaf ilaying? It is? It's jar? Yawm means day, hajj means hajj. What does it mean? The day of hajj, the day of the pilgrimage. Cool. وَأَذَانٌ وَأَذَانٌ. So adhanun is a good mudaf. It's heavy? But it doesn't have al. That's not good enough. Not having al is not good enough. You only met how many requirements? I need you to meet what? And then adhan says, but, look at the word Allah. I know it's far away, but it's jar. You can't do long distance. And you're heavy. Sorry, sir. Nope. No go. I'll skip this. Nah, not min Allah. Not yet. Not yet. I'll tell you. It's coming. It's coming. بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. I mean, such nice jars. It's a good match. Isn't it mudaf ilayh? Why not? Because the first word, the supposed mudaf, is heavy, which means it's not a mudaf. So you know what? This is good error. But then somebody says, but Ustad, it's in the Quran. Yes, it is in the Quran. What's the logic I taught you today? I don't know what this is, but I know what it's not. It's not a mudaf ilayh. You got it? You know the label, I know what it's not, I know what it's not, I know what it's not. The circle of that is going to get smaller and smaller as we continue in class. Okay? So it's getting smaller already, and it's going to keep getting smaller and smaller. Okay, try kulla marsadin. Kulla marsadin. Kulla, light, no al. Marsadin, pretty juicy. I like it. This is a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh. Very nice. This is in the Quran. Don't get this wrong. Ghafurun Rahimun. But it's in the Quran. It can be in the Quran and not be a what? It can be in the Quran and not be a mudaf ilayh. عند المسجد. You're getting faster at this. Light, no al, followed by. Okay, if you're so good at this, why don't you do this one, huh? You like doing fast? Okay. What you got? What you got? See? No? Yes? Listen. You remind me of someone I know. Why don't you slow down and follow the process? Not every answer comes quick. I want to teach you to slow down. You're like, I can do this fast. Then you're like, no, yes, yes. Follow the process. Somebody walk me through the process. Teach this to me. I don't care about the ending sound. I want to know what's the process for finding a mudaf ilayh. Okay. Here's what I need. Does bani have al on it? Okay. And are you saying that bani is light? Is bani light? What's the light version? Muslimu. Yes? Okay. What's the light version? You good? You're good. Okay. What's the light version? What's the light version? I gotcha. You're like, oh, this is fast. That's so easy. I can do it right now. Okay. What happened? Bani is the light version of what? Banina. It reminds me when sometimes I travel and people butcher my work all the time. It doesn't hurt me. It feels kind of like a small allergic reaction. Like I made a program. I called it Story Night. I did it 10 years ago. I've done 10 story nights. Traveled around the world. Somebody comes, Ustad, I was attending your story time. That's so good. I was like, story time is what parents tell their children to put them to sleep. I called it story night. Story time was so good. I was like, okay. It's okay. Nothing personal. It's okay. And then my favorite one, Ustad, you're from the Banyan Institute, right? Yes, I am. That's Banyan Institute, yes. Bani reminded me of that. It's been called Bani Institute, Banyan Institute. It's like Banana Institute. Yeah, yeah. But my favorite, the one that didn't even feel bad, it felt kind of good, was at the airport in Atlanta. This lady, she saw me. She goes, "Ah, Mufti Menk." And I was like, "No." She goes, "Oh, I know you, Mufti Menk. Don't lie to me." And I was like, "No, I'm not Mufti Menk." Because I see all your video. You Mufti Menk. So I took out a picture of me and Mufti Menk. I had a selfie with him. I was like, "That's Mufti Menk. This is me." She goes, "Oh, you the other one." Anyway, so Bani is light? Does it have Allah on it? No, it doesn't. So Bani is possibly a mudaf, okay? Isra'ila. What kind of word is Isra'ila? Non-Arab name, which makes it partly flexible. What did you learn about partly flexibles? I want to hear u, a, which means rafa' is u, nasab is a, jar is also. I see Bani Israel, la, which means it could be nasab or jar, but this Bani is such a nice juicy mudaf, which means this must be a. Bani means sons. What does Bani Israel mean? The sons of Israel. Last question on this. Is Bani proper or common? Is Bani proper or common? In fact, that's not even good enough. I want 4 properties of Bani. 4 properties. Let's go. Bani. First of all, to tell status, what must you first tell me? Sound or combination. Now you're learning. Good. Is it a sound or combination? This is a combination, which means this could be nasab or jar. Nasab jar. I'm going to put New Jersey. Okay. And then, how did you know it's plural? Una, ina is from the plural chart. Okay. Gender. How did you know? No, that's not good enough. No, no signs of feminine. No. It's from the masculine chart. Masculine chart. Muslimina. Okay. Is it proper or common? How do you know? Ali Ahmed, how do you know? Because before there was PlayStation 5, there was PlayStation 4. The mudaf will be proper if the... Nicely done. Proper. Because Israel... But wait, how is Israel proper? I don't see al on it. Oh, it's a proper name. Yeah. Good. Good. This is so easy. I can do it so fast. Do this one. Is aqamu light? Sounds light to me. Does it have Allah on it? Maybe it's a good candidate. What about as-salata? Is that jar? What status is as-salata? That's nasb. If it was jar, it would have been what? As-salati. So I don't know what this is, but it's not mudaf ilayh. Got it? It didn't fit. By your standards so far, yeah. Try this one. Sudura qawmin. Sudura is light, no al. Qawmin. Does this work? Mudaf ilayh? Tell me the 4, okay. Let's go through that again. You know, this exercise reviews everything we did so far, all in one go. You know that? We had all this information, and now we're using it all at once. That's the difference between information and knowledge. 3 days of information, and now we're turning it into what? Knowledge. We're applying all of it at one shot. Sudura qawmin. I will just tell you, you already know what qawm means. Yes? Sudur means chests. That's all I will tell you. Sudur means chests. I want 4 properties of sudura. 4 properties. Nasb. I agree, it's nasb. Plural. Very good. Plural. Very good. Very good. Plural. Plural. Yep. Plural. Definitely plural. Yep. Yeah. So proud of you right now. Thodi sharam aayi? Feel what is it? Is chests plural? In English, it's plural. How many kinds of plurals are there in Arabic? Before we move on, we must say which of the 5. Is it una, ina plural? No. Is it atun, atin plural? No. Is it nas, qawm, and qarn plural? Really? Sudur is nas, qawm, and qarn? No. Is it human? No. Monkeys have chests too. Is this a non-human broken plural? And when the Arabs come across a non-human broken plural, what am I going to write for number? 1. What am I going to write for gender? Feminine. What am I going to write for type? Common? Why? Mudaf is common if Mudaf ilay is common. Mudaf will never tell you the final answer. The final answer, proper common, has to come from Mudaf ilay. This was tricky. But man, is this process helping you put everything together? All the pieces have to come together now, okay? So let's try another one. Al-Firdausa nuzula. Al-Firdaus. What about the al? What about it? Good. Can't be a mudaf if it's an al. Okay. Jama'a malan. This is a good one. This is easy. Right away. Yes. 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 Why not? Jama'a is light. No alif lam. Malan is not a mudaf ilay because malan is what status? Good. I don't know what this is. But it's not mudaf ilay. I know what it's not. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. طعام المسكين. I have different votes. Is it light? Does it have al? Is the next word jar? It is? Ini? Yeah, that's a mudaf ilayh. لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ. Why not? This is number 66 for those of you that are lost. This is number 66. Why is this not? The alleged mudaf ilay is rafa form. Nope. No. Jannatu adnin. Is it? This one's light, doesn't have al, and the next word is clearly jar. Yes or no? Mudaf ilay. Skip this one. Okay, let's try this one. I'll tell you something about alladhina. Alladhina is non-flexible. What does that mean, that it's non-flexible? The rafa' version of alladhina is alladhina. The nasb version of it is alladhina. The jar version is also alladhina. Okay, does ma'a look like it could be a mudaf? Why? Like no. Could alladhina be jar? Because it could be any of the 3. But if it could be, then it is, and therefore this is in fact a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh. Yes. Don't worry about it yet. After Maghrib. That question, after, I will not forget. I'm with you on this. Get it? Okay. ثلاثمائة. Why? Light no al followed by light no al followed by jar. Light no al followed by jar. Light no al followed by could be jar. All good. Yes. No. It mostly has of in between, but I'll explain soon. Wa'dallahi. Yes or no? How you know? How much time do we have before Maghrib? 5 minutes? Time to fry your brain so you think about this during Salah. Finish it for me. Huwa, huma, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Part of the Arabic requirements for my program is you have to learn to type like that. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Huwa, huma, hum. Let me put it in the center. Once again, let's go through what it means. What does huwa mean? He. Huma, huma. Hum, they. Hiya, she. Huma, they both female. Very good translation. I'm going to use that in my translation of the Quran. They both female. Standard that one. Hunna. They, she. Good. Anta. Antuma. YouTube. Facebook. Antum. Y'all. Come on, we're in Texas. We can do y'all. We could do y'all. You know? If we were in Boston, we could have said use, or Pittsburgh use, but here we can say y'all. Okay? I think South Africans use use, I think. Okay? Auntie? It's not she. Hiya is she. Auntie is the Japanese version of hiya, which is yushi. Comes with sushi. Antuma? You both she's. This really sounds normal given the circumstances in this country. You'd say that to one person. Antunna? Y'all ladies. Keep it easy. Y'all ladies. Ana. Nahnu. Okay, listen carefully. Once again, from memory. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. I'm going to introduce you to cousins before Maghrib. Each one of them has a cousin. Each one of them has a what? Cousin. Huwa has two cousins. Who or he? Don't write this down. In your head. Huwa has what two cousins? Who and he. Who and he are the cousins of Huwa. Huma's cousin is identical. Huma's cousin is also Huma. What are Huwa's cousins? What are the two cousins of Huwa? Who and he. And who's Huma's cousin? Hum's cousin is also Hum. Hum's cousin is also Hum. I'll say the original, you tell me the cousins. Huwa, who or he. Huma, Hum. Hiya's cousin is Ha. Hiya's cousin is what? Ha. Okay, let's start over. Huwa. Who or he. Huma. Hum. Hiya. Ha. Hiya's cousin is? Huma's cousin is also Huma. And Hunna's cousin is Hunna. Hunna's cousin is also Hunna. Okay, let's start over. Huwa. Who, he. Huma. Hum. Hiya. Huma. Hunna. Now, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, they were from a very tight-knit family. And they all named their cousins the same way. So if the first word ended with ta, the cousin's name became ka. If the first name ended with tuma, the cousin became kuma. And if the word ended with tum, the cousin became kum. And if the word ended with ti, the cousin became ki. And if the word ended with tuma, the cousin became kuma. And if the word ended with tunna, the cousin became okay. So the cousin of anta is ka. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma. Antunna. Let's start over. Hua. Who or he? Huma. Hum. Hiya. Huma. Hunna. Anta. Huh? Ka. Antuma. Kuma. If you forget, what do you use to remember with these anta cousins? Just how it ends, right? It ends with tuma, so make it what? Kuma. Okay, so anta, once again, anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma. Antunna, kunna. Ana has two cousins, ni and e. Ni, e. Who are the cousins of? Ana. Ana, if I say ana, what do you say? Ni, e. Ni, e. And nahnu has one cousin, na. Nahnu has what cousin? Let's do that all together. I need you to memorize huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Then I need you to know huwa becomes what? Cousins, cousins. Hu, he, huma, huma, hum, hum, hiya, ha, huma, hunna, hunna, anta, ka, antuma, kuma, antum, kum, anti, ki, antuma, kuma, antunna, kunna, ana, ni, e. Remember what? Ni, e. Ni, e. Nahnu, na. Now do dhikr after salah. Huwa, hu, he, huma, huma, hunna, hunna. Okay? Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum. Say it to each other on the way. Come on. Repeat it. Okay, let's get back to work. We have lots of work to do and not lots of time. Are we ready? Are we online? Alina? We're good? Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We are now taking things up a notch. I asked you to memorize the cousins of the pronouns. You already know what the pronouns mean. Huwa, huma, hum. What does huwa mean? He. Huma? No, not you two, no. Both of them. And hum? They. Hiya means she. Huma means both of them. And hunna means they. Listen to this part carefully. 6 of them start with an H. 6 of them start with an H. That means they are not here. That's the third person. If it starts with an H, you're not talking to them, you are talking about them. He, both of them, they, she, both of those women, them ladies, none of them are here. The moment you start an, ant, any variation of ant is you, you're here, second person. Anta means you, antuma means both of you. So your translation for all the ant words has to have a you in it. There has to be a you in it. So antuma, both of you. Antum, all of you. Anti is the feminine you. Antuma, feminine, both of you. And antunna, you ladies. All yous. You see that? So the first ones were all non-you. They're he, she, they, far away. And the ant ones are all you. Question? Okay, just following. Okay. And then ana and nahnu is myself. Ana is I. And nahnu is what? We, not us, we. Don't use us, use we. Okay, and I'll show you why. Okay, do you remember the cousins? What's the cousin of huwa? Who and he. Now I'm gonna let you get introduced to more of the family. What's the cousin of huma? I lied. Huma also has 2 cousins. Huma and hima. Huma and hima. Huma and hima. Hum, what was the cousin? Actually, I lied. It's got 2 cousins. Hum and him. Let's start over. Who are the cousins of huwa? Who, he. Huma's cousins. Huma, hima. Hum's cousins. Hum, him. Hiya only has 1 cousin. You already know her? Ha, she laughs a lot. Okay. Huma, 2 cousins. Huma, hima. Hunna, 2 cousins. Hunna, hinna. The good news is, ant only have 1 cousins and you already know them. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. So let me color this for you a little bit so you know where the ka comes from. Oh, I won't color. Can you see the red? You just got to pay attention to that part. And you can tell who the cousin is going to be. The part in red is trying to tell you who the cousin is. So, anta, the cousin is what? Ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. Just pay attention to the red part and you got the answer. Anti, ki. Antuma, kuma. Antunna, kunna. Ana has 2 cousins. E, ni, e. It's easier for you to remember it as eeny, meeny, miny, mo, then you can just do e, ni. I don't care about the order. Ni, e. Okay? Nahnu, na. Nahnu, na. Okay? Those are my cousins. Now let me tell you what I was really talking about. Now I need 100% of your attention. These are pronouns. These are pronouns. You memorize the pronouns. I should tell you that each one of them has 4 properties because it's an ism, right? Every ism has how many? 4 properties. Now, can you tell me, I'll tell you, all the pronouns are rafa'. All of them are what? You don't have to worry about whether they're nasab or jar. All of them are rafa'. Huwa, rafa'. Huma, rafa'. Hum, rafa'. Hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. All rafa'. Not a question. If you remember, there were 3 ways to tell status. You can tell by ending sounds. You can tell by ending combinations. And then I made a little weird comment. Pronouns are rebels. Do you remember that? You know what that means? Pronouns don't care about your ending sound problem. Pronouns don't care about your ending combinations. They are rebels. They say, listen, or rafa. But what about your sound? Or rafa. Huwa has an ah sound at the end. In any other word, if you saw the ah sound, what would you say? You'd say nasab, but huwa says, excuse me, what am I? Rafa. Huma, rafa. Hum doesn't even have a sound. It's sukun at the end, but he says, pronoun over here. You know, in some countries, there are some people that are members of the royal family. The rest of the people are standing in line at the post office, and the member of the royal family kind of just walks up and pronouns. They got their own rules. They live among us, but they are not among us. Okay? They are from an elite class in Arabic grammar. They have their own laws. All of them are what status? Again, tell me, how many properties of an ism should you know? What are they? Status, number, gender, type. Let me tell you, status is never a problem. Why? Permanently solved, rafa. Type is never a problem because one of the 7 things that are always proper, I made you write down 7 things that are proper. One of them was what? So 4 properties you have to know. 2 of them are guaranteed every time. Rafa and proper. Done. Only 2 properties left. What 2 properties? Number and those come from the meaning. Those come from what? What does huwa mean? Which means it's singular and masculine. What does huma mean? Both of them, which means it's 2 and masculine. What does hum mean? They, which means it's plural and now I know 4 properties of all of them. Let's try it. If I say, what are the 4 properties of anti? What are the 4 properties of anti? I want status, I want number, I want gender, I want type. Same 4 properties that we've been doing. What's the status? Why is it rafa? Because pronouns are rebels. But it has an E at the end. Do they care? No, because pronouns are rebels. It's rafa. Okay, what's the number for anti? Singular. What's the gender for anti? Feminine. Anta is masculine, anti is feminine. Good. What's the type for anti? It's proper. Why? Because they're always proper. Easy? So you can tell all 4 properties of these guys. Now, before I left you for the salah, I told you to learn each of them has cousins. Yes? So let me tell you what the difference is. The ones you memorized, huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, every time I do it, you do it with me because I already know it. Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. All of these are called independent pronouns. I'll say that again. All of these are called what? Independent pronouns. And I have taught you that independent pronouns are always rafa. They're always what? Rafa. Each one of them has a cousin or 2 cousins. Those cousins can only be nasab or jar. The cousins can only be what? Nasab or jar. And each cousin can be either one. So, for example, what are the 2 cousins of huwa? Who or he? Who could be nasab or jar, and he could also be nasab or jar. But if you want rafa, you have to go to the independent original one, which is what? So the rafa version is huwa, the nasab version is who or he. The rafa version is huma, the nasab version is, what's the cousin of huma? Huma or hima. Those could be nasab and it could be jar. The rafa version is hum. What's the jar, nasab or jar version? Hum or him. The rafa version is hiya. What's the nasab or jar version? Good. That's why we learned the cousins. Ha. The rafa version is huma. Again, the nasab or jar version is huma or hima. The rafa version is hunna. The nasab or jar version is hunna or hinna. Okay. Anta is what version? Hold on. Anta is what version? Rafa version. What's the nasab or jar version of anta? Ka. Antuma, nasab or jar version. Kuma, antum, kum, anti, ki, antuma, kuma, antunna, kunna, ana, ni, or now ana is the only cool one. Ni is nasab and e is jar. A little bit different. Ni is what? Nasab and e is jar. Every other one shares. But with ana, it gets a little selfish. It's self-centered. It's ana-centered. So it has a lot of ana. So the ni is nasab and the e is jar most of the time. And nahnu, na. Nahnu, the nasab jar version is na. Yes. Correct. I'm not going to repeat that question because you like complications. Okay. Now watch this. If I say to you, before I kept calling them cousins. We should give them a real name. How did I name these guys? What do I call these guys? Independent pronouns. Now I'll give those guys a name. Their name is attached pronouns. What's their name? Attached pronouns. So independent pronouns and attached pronouns. Just like people. Some people are independent. You know what that means? They're completely fine by themselves. They can spend 3 hours in the library, no problem. They can take a walk by the beach. They can go on a trip. They can do work. They can play video games by themselves. They are independent. And some people are what? Attached. What you doing? What you doing? Call me. Text me back. Why aren't you texting me back? Hey, I cannot exist without you. Breathe within my atmosphere. Some people are not independent. They are what? Some pronouns are not independent. They are what? The thing with attached pronouns is they're so clingy, they cannot exist by themselves. They have to attach to something. They have to what? Attach at the end of something. So the attached pronouns are never by themselves. They have to be at the end of a word, either an ism or a fi'l or a harf, but they have to be attached. Now, let me show you something. أشهد أن محمدا عبده. You've heard this before? أشهد أن محمدا. I want you to know that Hua's cousin is here somewhere. Who's Hua's cousin? Who? You see him? What's he attached to? It came at the end of Abdu. Okay, now, the attached version can only be what status? The attached version can only be nasab or, so I don't know if who is nasab and I don't know if who is, but I do know one thing. What is his original independent rafa version? So not only do I want you to go forwards, I also want you to go backwards. So if you see who, you should know who came from where? Hua. Okay. Let me show you something really cool. You see the word abdu? Is it light? Is it light? Okay. Does it have al on it? When a word is light and it doesn't have al on it, could be mudaf. The word who is the original version or the attached version? Attached versions can only be nasab or, but if it's nasab or jar and it has a good looking mudaf, it's jar, which means abdu is a mudaf and who is a mudaf ilayh. What do you put between a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh? Of slave, of his, which would easily translate into what? His slave. Okay, well, what about? I changed it. I used a different cousin. You should know, first of all, when you see a cousin, who did he come from? Who's he related to? So if I see ka, who's the original? What does anta mean? So ka also means you. Is Abdu light? Does it have al on it? Could ka be nasab or jar? What does ka come from? What does it mean? You. So what does abduka mean? Your slave. Mudaf. Mudaf ilayh. Yeah. Yeah. No, pick one. And you don't have to pick. Thousands of years ago, the Arabs already picked. And I'll show you when they use which one. But that's just easy part. Okay? No, no difference in meaning. No difference in meaning between who or he. That's the question. Two cousins, right? Who or he, they mean exactly the same thing. No difference in meaning. It's just sometimes who sounds nicer and sometimes he sounds nicer. That's the only difference. That's the only difference, okay? Let's see. I want to show you an exercise before we take notes. I'm going to give you a second to look at, this is page number 20. This is page 20. I want you to see if there are, if you see a pronoun, when you see a pronoun, you should ask yourself two questions, multiple choice question. Is it independent or is it attached? And if it's attached, who's the original cousin? Why is that important to ask who's the original cousin? That tells you what the meaning is, okay? So let's try number 7 together. Is there an attached pronoun? Okay, na. What is the original of na? What does nahnu mean? So this has something to do with we or us. What status could this be? It could be nasab and it could be, I don't know enough yet. I don't know if the word alay is ism, fi'il or harf. I don't know enough. But I do know na can be nasab or jar. Okay, this one says qawm. You know the word qawm already, don't you? We saw qawm a number of times. What does this say? Qawm followed by E. Is E one of the cousins? Yes. Who's the original for E? Ana. What does ana mean? So qawmi must mean my nation. Sweet. Qawmi. Wa'adakum. I don't know if there's a pronoun or not. Is there? Where? Kum comes from antum, meaning you all. Wa'ada is a fi'il. You don't know fi'il yet. Wa'ada means he promised. What does the whole thing mean? He promised who? No, not them. Not them. This is why going back to the original is so important. Kum came from antum. What does antum mean? Y'all, not them. Y'all. Remember, any word with ant in it has to be translated with what word? You. You cannot use them here. When can you use them or they or she or he if the word has what in it? What letter? H. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, huna. Those are the theys and she's and all that. But the ant or the ka, that's all yous. So you can't use you, they here. You have to say all of you. Okay? بِأَنَّهُمْ. My question is the hum here rafa', nasb, or jar? That's my question. Huh? Nasb or jar. And how do I know it's not rafa'? Because rafa' ones like to be what? Independent. And this guy is attached. So even though he looks like his independent cousin, homeboy is attached. Sorry, you're nasab or jar. You got it? When we say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, you recite that all the time. قُلْ هُوَ Allahu Ahad. What's the status of huwa? Why? Why is it rafa'? Because it's independent. Okay, Allahu Samad, lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakun lahu. Lahu. Did you hear a who? Is that the independent or the attached? Which means it can only be what? It could be nasab and it could be. Okay. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka. Is ka a cousin? So it can only be what? Nasab or? Okay. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbu. By the way, what does ka mean? Where does ka come from? What does it mean? Comes from you? Comes from anta? You. So this question, write this on top of page 20 here. I'll tell you what to write. Where does it come from? What does it mean? And then what is the status? 3 questions every time with every pronoun. Where does it come from? What does it mean? What's the status? Train yourself. Every time you see a pronoun, where does it come from? What does it mean? What's the status? Where does it come from? What does it mean? What's the status? Get used to this thought process. Some people skip the first step. What's the first step here? Where does it come from? So they take kum and they make it they. Very common mistake. Very common mistake among students. Why? Because kum is plural, and in the English mind, the first thing that comes in your head subconsciously with plural is they. So you quickly make a mistake. Don't do that. Always take it back and take your time a little bit, and then eventually it'll become second nature. Don't try to speed up the process. Just like in math, when you try to solve a problem quickly, you mess up. So take the steps. Where does it come from? What does it mean? What's the status? Okay? Now, listen to me, and then we'll go back to the exercises. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم is attached, huh? What's the process? I heard home. First question. Where does home come from? Home originally. And home means what? They. What does it mean? They. Home means they. That's my second. And then what's the status? كيدهم. Nasab or jar. Nasab or jar, yes. You'll see it attached. You'll soon. Just right now, I said it quickly for a reason because I wanted you to feel the attachment. Okay? وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ. Is him a cousin? Because home has 2 cousins. Home and? I found you, bro. Him. So him is meaning what? They. What's the status? Nasab or jar. Nasab or jar. So وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ تَرْمِيهِمْ. تَرْمِيهِمْ. Do you hear a him? Where does it come from? Home. What does hum mean? What status is him? ترميهم. نصب وجر. بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم. فجعلهم. What do you think? جعلهم. I will make it fast. جعلهم. It's attached. Comes from home, meaning they. نصب وجر. Okay. كعصف. فجعلهم. كعصف. Do you hear a pronoun? Good. Some people hear a ka. Wrong. These guys don't get attached to your head. They get attached to your feet. They don't have self-respect. They don't go in the beginning. They go at the end. Okay. Suratul Kawthar. Inna. Inna. Do you hear a pronoun? What's na? Na goes back to nahnu. What does nahnu mean? Good. Inna a'tainaka. Inna a'tainaka. Ka. What is ka? Ka comes from where? Anta becomes ka. What does ka mean? We gave you al-kawthar. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ رَبِّكَ. What does ka come from? Anta. Inna shani'a ka. What does ka come from? Anta. Huwa. Ooh, new one. Huwa. Independent. So what status? Rafa. Huwa al-abtaru. Yeah. Which one? Hum. Hum is both masculine and feminine. Hunna is feminine. Wait. Let me hear. Say it louder. Oh, huma. Yeah, huma could be masculine and feminine. Yeah, it's okay. It's not going to be a problem. Because sometimes Allah will talk about two prophets, and you're like, is this masculine or is this feminine? Well, He talked about two prophets, so it must be what? Masculine. Sometimes He'll talk about the wife of Nuh and the wife of Lut together. The wife of Nuh and the wife of Lut. And then He'll use huma. When He uses huma, who's He talking about? Both of those ladies. You get it? So it's not going to be confusing. And sometimes He's talking about Adam and Hawa. Adam and Hawa. Yeah? That's one man and one woman. Which means which gender is going to be used? The masculine, because the mix is masculine. Easy. It won't be confusing. Quran is very straightforward. I'm not teaching you all of Arabic. I'm trying to help you navigate the text of the Quran. Okay, so once again, as a review, let's go through all the cousins again and the meanings. What does huwa mean? He. Who? What are his cousins? Who, he. Huma means what? Both of them. Cousins. Huma and? Good. Hum. What does hum mean? They. Cousins. Hum, him. Hiya. What does it mean? She. Cousin. Ha. Huma. Meaning. Huma meaning what? Both of them ladies. Cousins. Huma and? Hunna. Them ladies. Cousins. Hunna and? Okay, now the hard ones. Anta. What does it mean? You. Cousin? Ka. Antuma. What does it mean? Both of you. Cousin? Kuma. Antuma? Kuma. Kuma. Rhymes. Antum. What does it mean? You all? Cousin? Kum. What does it mean? So all of you? All of you. Anti. What does it mean? Very good. Yushi. Arigato. Okay. Yushi. So Yushi and the cousin? Ki. Anti? Ki. Antuma. What does it mean? Yutushe. Both of you women. The cousin? Antuma. Kuma. Antunna, y'all ladies. The cousin? Kunna. Ana, what does it mean? I. The cousins? E or ni. Which one is nasab? Ni for nasab, N for nasab. Ni for nasab. Nahnu, what does it mean? We. The cousin? Now, if you thought Rafa Nasab Jar is going to mess up your listening of the Quran, pronouns are everywhere. They are everywhere. Okay? Let's see. Can you identify the pronoun in innani? Ni comes from where? I, ana. Ana. What does it mean? Good. Minhu. Who? Who's who? Huwa. Cool. Bihi. He is cousins with huwa. So it still means him, right? Him or his. Okay? Is the identification getting a little easier? Rabbiki. Ki comes from, what does anti mean? Yushi. This is the angels talking to Maryam. Your God, your master, talking to Maryam. She's a female, so Rabbi ki. Okay? Alqiha. Ha. Hiya. Good. She. Good. Yahdihi. Huwa. Huwa. What do you know about the status? Whenever it's independent, what status is it? Whenever it's attached, what status is it? Whenever it's independent, it's Rafa. Whenever it's attached, it's nice. Very nice. Let me tell you a little secret. Whenever, don't write this down, just listen and read also. Whenever a pronoun, you know the pronouns now, is attached, and you know when they're attached to an ism. Whenever a pronoun is attached to it, do you know isms already? A little bit? It becomes a mudaf ilayh. Whenever a pronoun is attached to an ism, it becomes a, what does that make the ism? The mudaf. Every time. Now, how many pronouns do you know? 14. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Okay, watch this. Here's a word. Kitab. I'm making it a mudaf. Why am I making it a mudaf? Because I want to give it a mudaf ilayh. Okay. What does huwa mean? What does huwa mean? How do I say his book? Kitabuhu. How do I say the book of both of them? Kitabu huma. How do I say their book? Nice. How do I say her book? Just take hiya, give me the attached version, and stick it on at the end. Kitabu ha. The book of both of those ladies. Kitabu huma. The book of them ladies. Kitabuhunna. Your book. The book of you. Your book. Kitabuka. The book of both of you. Kitabu kuma. The book of all of y'all. Kitabukum. The book of you, Maryam. Kitabuki. The book of you two, Maryam and Fatima. Kitabukuma. The book of y'all ladies. Kitabu kunna. And every one of these was mudaf, mudaf ilayh, mudaf, mudaf ilayh, mudaf, mudaf ilayh. You get it? Now, my book, Kitabui. Well, Kitabui sounded bad, so the Arabs said, can we just make this nicer and make it what? Kitabi. So instead of saying Kitabui, they say what? Kitabi. But let's go back to Kitabu, our book. Kitabuna. Kitabuna. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. You read that a bajillion times. Do you see any pronouns? Kum. Where does kum come from? Antum. Some people said, where does kum come from? Ustad Noman. Where does kum come from? What does it mean? You all. What does dinukum mean? Uses religion, y'all's religion, the religion of you all. The religion of you all. Lakum dinukum. Okay? Nope, they're not. As you shall soon see. Hunna. What does it mean? Let's finish this practice. Them ladies. Rafa Nasab or Jar? Why? Independent. Nasiruhuma. Attached. Could be Nasab or Jar. What does it mean? Well, first questions first. Where does it come from? What does it mean? What is the status? What's the first question? Yeah, so what's the answer? Where does it come from? Homa. What does homa mean? I think it means both of you, right? Both of you? Both of you. Both of you. Say both of you. Just do it. Just say it. Both of them ladies. Both of them duties, ladies, lady dude. Could be. Could be. Yeah, nowadays, yeah. Okay, so Nasiru Homa, both of them. Homa. Both of them. Status. Rafa. Home. You all. You all. You, we. I. They. Status. Kitabu kunna. Kunna comes from antunna, which means them ladies. Y'all ladies. Some of you are like, them ladies. Akhraja homa. Homa. This is too much exercise. My brain's hurting. Okay, I'll give you a break. I'll tell you a joke. I'll tell you a story. It's not really a joke. It's a tragic story. So, you know, all these pronouns. I didn't know that I speak Urdu originally. And I didn't know that Urdu has many varieties. And in one of its varieties, which is from Hyderabad, India, they have their own Urdu, which is not like the Urdu I was raised with, okay? So I was visiting a family a long time ago, and the uncle who picked me up from the airport was from Hyderabad. And I didn't know, in English, if you agree with someone, you say, yeah, okay, these are the words you say to agree with someone. Apparently, in their Urdu, to agree with someone, they say, how. How. So I came in, got in from the airport, got in the car. Uncle said, how are you, beta? And I was like, Uncle, I'm good. How was the flight? It was good. He said, how? I was like, it was on time. He said, how? I said, it's a reliable airlines. He said, how? I was like, they've been around for many years. So how? You can see how the conversation was going. And then the worst thing happened. In my Urdu, the word for iron is istri. And in their Urdu, the word for iron, the word istri means woman or wife. So there's this gathering, there's a bunch of guys, a bunch of college guys. I was in college back in the day, it was 1835. I'm in college, I'm with a bunch of guys in my hotel room, and our hotel room does not have an iron. And next to them, or next to our room, was all the older gentlemen, all of them from Hyderabad. So, and the customer service, the front desk was not picking up the phone, so I decided to knock on the door and ask for an iron. So I go next door and knock on the door, and Uncle opens up the door, and I said, we need to iron our clothes. We need an istri. He said, we know. So, yeah. You should really learn the language. This happens to me a lot, by the way. Language confusions, all the time. Especially in England. In England, the first time I went to England, I kid you not, I didn't know. In New York, we call a Coke or a 7-Up, we call it soda. Okay, in the Midwest, they call it pop. They call it pop or soda pop. I didn't know that in England, many people call it a fizzy. A fizzy. So I'm driving with this guy who's an imam. He goes, hey, Ustad, you fancy a fizzy, yeah? I was like, I will do no such thing, sir. Let's fancy a fizzy. Astaghfirullah. Okay, nahnu. What does nahnu mean? We. What status? Okay, you've had enough exercise. let's get to finish up today's work, inshallah. Mudaf and... Actually, let me read the notes. You don't have to write this because it's already in your notes. So let's show you that. This is going to be on page, I believe, 21. It says at the bottom, basic kinds of idafa. There are 3 basic kinds of idafa. The first one, I already told you, has what translation between the mudaf and the mudaf ilayh? Of. The second one, I just showed you, whenever an ism comes with a what? A pronoun, the pronoun becomes what? Mudaf ilayh, which means the ism becomes mudaf. That's number 2. That's already number 2. Then there's a third category. I call them special mudafs. What are they? Special mudafs. Now, do you remember the definition of an ism that we did many moons ago? What did I tell you about an ism? Ism is a what? Person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and the next page is what I mean by more. This page. These words are, you can almost say, they're considered ism because the Arabs said so. I would have called them harf, but they're not. They're ism. They are what? Ism. And here's something else you should know about them. 99.999% of the time, if you see one of these words, it's going to be a mudaf. The vast majority of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, if you see one of these words, it's a what? Mudaf. Which means the next word is a mudaf ilayh. The difference is that when these guys are mudaf and the next word is mudaf ilayh, for most of them, you don't need the word of to translate. You don't need the word of to translate. So for example, let's use the word maghrib. You guys all know the word al-maghrib, the prayer. Ba'da al-maghribi. Ba'da al-maghribi. It tells you what ba'da means. What does it mean? Ba'da al-maghribi, you don't say after of maghrib. You just say what? After maghrib. Right next to it, it should have been qabla. Qabla is over here. Qabla al-maghribi. Before, not before of maghrib, just before maghrib. Okay, now, if I say masjid, tahta al-masjidi. Tahta al-masjidi. What does it mean? Below the masjid. Fawqa al-masjidi. Above the masjid. Khalf al-masjidi. Behind the masjid. Amam al-masjidi. Not imam, amam. Amam al-masjidi. In front of the masjid. Quddam al-masjidi. Another word for in front of. You can put an X on this word. It's not in the Quran. So Quddam is not in the Quran. Okay? Wara al-masjidi. What's wara al-masjidi? Beyond the masjid or behind the masjid also. Bayn al, let's say, Bayn al-masjidaini. Bayn al-masjidaini. You see the ayud aini? Between the two masjids. Hawl al-masjidi. Around the masjid. Dun al-masjidi. Besides the masjid. Okay, ladun we'll do later on. عند المسجد. At the masjid. At the masjid. It can also mean the masjid has, but I'll teach you that later on. Ma'al masjidi. That's your question. Remember ma'a, with? Before salah, you asked about ma'a. I remember you. You remember? That was you. You said it. Yeah, that's exactly what I pointed, okay? Pay attention. Ma'a means with. You're looking at me like, I didn't do anything. I didn't, why is he pointing at me like that? I hope it's the person behind me. I knew what was going on through your head as I was doing it. I was kind of enjoying the torture you were suffering, to be honest with you. It's part of the joys of being a teacher. Okay, so ma'a means with. So ma'al masjidi means what? With the masjid. These are all special mudafs. And there's some more. Ay, which means any, and kul, which means every, and ghayr and ba'd. So this is interesting vocabulary. If you learn this vocabulary, it'll probably happen on every page or every other page of the Quran. So this is a very common occurring vocabulary. But the pronouns are going to happen practically all the time. Okay. Let's see. I want to see if you guys can see number 5. Back again on page, this is 23, isn't it? Okay, this is question number 5 on page 23. Burhanakum. Burhanakum. Burhan means evidence. I'll say that again. Burhan means what? Evidence. What do you think this means? Good. Burhan is a mudaf. Kum is a mudaf ilayh. The evidence of all of you, you people's evidence. You people's evidence. Kum comes from antum. That's how you translate it. Okay? Burhanakum. Okay. So I think we've done enough of this kind of exercise. What I want you to do is work with each other now and translate all 16 of these. Fill in the blanks on page 24. You can work with each other. I'll give you guys no more than 5 minutes. You don't need more than 5 minutes. Be careful. Follow the process. Even the people online. Page 24. Nuaim, raise your hand. Nuaim, raise your hand. That's Nuaim. He's my teacher's assistant. If you are confused, you can ask him. Go on that side. Remember that process? Where does it come from? What does it mean? It'll help you. Stick to the process. Come on, Hassan, Amjad, let's go. How's it going? Badly? How many people struggling? Show of hands, struggling. Okay, good. Good. You're supposed to struggle. It's okay. I'll help you. All right, time's up. No. Who had trouble with the first one? Show of hands if you had trouble with the first one. Okay, if you had trouble with the first one. Let's try to do this together. What was the process that I asked you to follow? What were the 3 questions? Where does it come from? What does it mean? And then what's the status, right? Okay, so what's the attached pronoun here? Kum. You memorized huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. Then I'm expecting you to get really good. By tomorrow, I want you to get really good at huwa becomes who or he. Huma becomes what? Huma or hima. Hum becomes hum or him. Hiya becomes ha. Huma becomes huma, hima. Hunna becomes hunna or hinna. Anta, ka. Antuma, kuma. Antum, kum. And antum means all of you. So all the ant words mean you. You, both of you, all of you, feminine you, both of you, all you women. It's all yous. So kum means antum. So now the translation says selves. What's the missing piece? Yourselves. Yourselves. Baghyukum, same problem, same solution. So what's the meaning? All of your rebellion. Anybody have trouble with number 3? If you have trouble with number 3, what is the origin of ha? Which means she. So whose glitter? Her glitter. Amru na. Whose command? Where does na come from? Same process. Na comes from nahnu. So that means our command. Our command. Qawmahum. Yes, question. Yes. Our or we all? When have you used we all? Nahnu is we. Okay, so let me help you. It's a good question, actually. So here, we study. We study. He teaches us. Our path is long. Okay, what are the 3 words I've used for ourselves? We, us, our. I want you to tell me, using your knowledge of English, which one of these 3 words is rafa? Which one of these 3 words is rafa? We. When you use we in English, you're going to use it as a doer. You're going to use it what? You're not going to say us study. You're not going to say our studies. We're going to say we study, because we is a doer. Fine. Which one of these is always nasab? Us. Us is always a detail. He saw us, they helped us, he teaches us. Something's being done, you're not doing it, you're the detail of somebody else's act. You understand? So we is always rafa, and us is always what? Nasab. What about our? What's another way of saying our path? So what status is our? So what's a good translation of nahnu? Good translation of nahnu is what? We. But when you make it attached, should you still use we? Because when you make it attached, don't you change the status? Status to what? Nasab or jar. In these cases, because you're attaching it to an ism, it's always becoming a mudaf ilayh. If it's becoming a mudaf ilayh, you should translate it with what status? Jar status. What's the jar version of we In English, our. Do you understand why not use we? Okay. What about between me or I, me, and my? Which one is rafa', which one is nasab, which one is jar? What do you think? I is what? Rafa. Me is nasab, and my is good. Now you're getting it. That's why we're not going to say we command. We're going to say our command. Okay? If it's detached, then it's we. Yeah. Yeah. Qawmahum. Process. I don't care about the answer. I care about the process. It's a thing. Home comes from home, which means they. So qawmahum becomes their nation. Very nice. Yep. Ahluha. Process. Ha came from Hiya. Hiya means she. So ahluha means her family. This one is tricky. This next one is tricky. And I'll tell you why. Hudud means limits. Hudud means what? Limits. So hududahu technically means what? His boundaries or his limits. Now, the thing is, if you have a home, and you say, this is my boundary. This is my boundary. Or you're a parent and you tell your child, you can't be out after 7 p.m. This is my boundary. Who set the boundary? The parent set the boundary and said, the parent said to the child, this is my what? Boundary. The child says to his friend, I can't go out. This is my boundary. The child also says what? This is my, but they mean two different things. The child is saying, I am stuck inside these boundaries. The parent is saying, I'm the one who set these boundaries, but they're both using the same exact phrase, which is what? My boundaries. These are my boundaries. The one who said it and the one who's held by it are using the same phrase. Now, has Allah set boundaries on us? He has. If they apply to me, I will say, those are my boundaries. When Allah sets them, He can also say what? Those are His boundaries. But I want to make sure I translate in a way that's clear that when Allah is saying it, He's saying that He set the boundaries and no boundaries apply on Him. So instead of saying His boundaries, which could be taken in two ways, the parent way and the child way, you understand? So we want to make sure we don't use it the wrong way when we talk about Allah in translation. So we're going to say His prescribed boundaries, His set boundaries, meaning He's the one who set them. Okay, so we'll add the word prescribed just as a precaution so no one misunderstands what we're saying when we say these are the boundaries set by Allah. So His prescribed boundaries. Same. Context, yeah. Which is why now you're starting to learn a little bit why translation is not just about translate this word and translate this word, because like, you know, in chemistry, you can have one element and another element and they have a chemical reaction and something new is created. That's how language works. You can take two words, bring them together, and you can get a completely different meaning, right? So we have to be careful with translation. Makanakum, makanakum. Where's the attached pronoun? Process. Antum, good. What does antum mean? You all. Makanakum, the place of you all, or y'all's place, your place, all of you. Bimithlihi, bimithlihi, with his example, with his example, bimithlihi. So he comes from what? Let's follow the process again. Huwa. He comes from huwa. فَلِأُمِّهِ. What does he mean? Where does it come from? Meaning, then for his mother. أهلهن. أهلهن. Them ladies or you ladies? We have to decide. Why isn't it you ladies? That would be kunna. Good job. Hinna, them ladies. Ahlihinna, their family, meaning those women's family. Okay? Those women's family. Ihdahunna. One of them ladies. One of them, hunna is hunna. One of them ladies. We've done kum enough times, so I think you're comfortable with it now. What does kum mean? You all, shuraka'ukum, y'all's partners or associates. Saduqatihinna. Ooh, this is a trouble word for a lot of people. Man, a lot of families, millions of families in the Muslim world are in trouble because of this word. Saduqatihinna. What does it mean? Yeah, their dowries. How did I translate? Yeah, marriage gifts. It's said gifts, but actually, so the word, you know what sidq means in Arabic? Sidq. True. Yeah. Saduqa. Saduqatun, saduqatan, saduqatin, saduqatani, saduqataini, saduqataini, saduqatun, saduqatin, saduqatin. Now, there's a difference between sadaqa and saduqa. Sadaqatun and saduqatun. Now, in fundraisers, what do we give? Sadaqatun. Sadaqa is charity. Saduqa, with a dhamma, is what makes the marriage true. Sidq. Sidq means truth. So when you give sadaqah, what we normally call the meher, making the relationship substantial, real, truthful, you have to give a sadaqah. So it's actually not a gift. You know, what's happened for a lot of people is their idea of sadaqah has turned into what? Sadaqah. It's optional, you know. Allah commands, "Atun nisaa saduqatihinna nihlatan." Give women their mandatory marriage gifts that make the relationship valid. Loaded term, saduqat. Give it happily and quickly. Give it happily and quickly. The two things we don't do. One, we don't give it. When we give it, it's definitely not happily. And even if we want to give it happily, we definitely don't give it quickly. And if it's quickly, then it's not happily. Saduqatihinna nihlatan. But our tajweed is really good. You know, the ahkam. Amali. Process. E comes from ana. Ana means I. Amali means my work. Rabbika. Fasabbih bihamdi rabbika. Anta means what? You, masculine, your master. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربي واستغفره. واستغفر. What do you think that is? هو. إنه. هو again كان توابا. Okay. Now you know a little bit about mudaf ilayh. You also know a little bit about pronouns and attached pronouns. Attached pronouns are everywhere. Pay attention today in salah. And from the beginning, it's going to start messing you up a little bit. Even the surah you just memorized or just recited. إِذَا جَاءَ what? نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. Watch this. Nasrullahi, mudaf ilayh or no? Like no alif lam followed by jar, yes? The help of Allah. Deenillah. Deenillahi. Mudaf ilayh or no? You know what deen means. What does deenillah mean? Religion of Allah. Now this is the tricky one. Hamdi. Does it look like a mudaf? Hamdi. Why? Light, no al. Rabbi. Does it look like a mudaf ilayh? Rabbi. Why? Because it is jar. But does Rabbi also look like a mudaf? Why? Light, no al. And ka, does that look like a mudaf ilayh? So there's two ofs. If hamd means praise, oversimplifying, if hamd means praise, and Rabb means master, and ka means you, what does hamdi rabbika mean? The praise of your master. The praise of your master. Very cool. I'm going to give you, I could let you go, but I won't. No more Arabic concepts. Repeat after me. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. Say it. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. Say it with me 5 times. In the same, say it with me, not after me. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. 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 2 more. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. Okay. Min, fi, an. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. 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 Min, fi, an. I would like 5 volunteers. Take a mic, take a mic. I want to hear this. I want to hear this disaster. Make them famous. Come on. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an. Who's got it? Show of hands so I know who not to pick. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Give her. You're next to her now.
Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an.
We got to tie the score. Come on, guys. Come on. Give me something here. Yeah, Masaki. Yes, young man. Thank you for volunteering with your pensive look, the pensive thought. Yes.
Ba, ta, kaf, lam, mim, min, fi.
Noon, wow, Hamza. Again! You can do this.
Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an.
Excellent, excellent. I really messed up your alphabet. Lady side, who's going to tie the score? You look scared. Yes, you. Okay, go. Look, she's having a panic attack. Give her the mic. Yes.
Put me on the camera.
No, you're not on my camera.
Oh, Lord. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an.
Good job. Good job. Let's see. Who's avoiding eye contact is what I want to know. Oh, you look scared. Okay, you. There it is. I read fear in your eye. No, right here. Hey, look at the nervous. Yeah.
Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an.
Excellent job. Everybody together. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. 5 more times. It's okay. Turn into zombies. It's okay. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. say it to each other 2 times each. Let's go now. 30 seconds. Come on. "20 seconds. Come on. "10 seconds. Okay. Volunteers. Bata kaf lam wow min fi an ala hatta ila. Volunteers. Yes, young man. Front row. Let's go. What's your name? Give him the mic. Give him the mic. What's your name?
Mustafa,
Mustafa, how old are you?
I'm 10.
Okay, let's do this, Mustafa. You have been chosen, which is what your name means. Alif?
What?
Nothing. I was just messing with you. Okay.
Bata kaf lam waw min fi an ala hatta ila.
Excellent job. Okay. Way back there. Noaim, you see that young man? Pass it and then give it to his sister. Okay. Go ahead. Tell me your name. What's your name?
Uzair,
Ozair, how old are you, Ozair?
11.
Nice. Let's do this. You got this. Jeem.
باء كاف لام واو من في عن على حتى إلى.
Wow. That's what we call in Mortal Kombat a flawless victory. Very good. And your sister? No thanks? Okay, and your older sister? Nope, no choice. No choice. It's happening. It's too late now. Now you have the mic in your hand. What's your name?
منها
Manha, go ahead.
باء كاف لام واو من في عن على حتى إلى.
Only one problem. Min fi'an. Excellent job, Manha. Good job. Good confidence. Very nice. MashaAllah. Okay. Everybody together. One last time. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi'an, ala, hatta, ila. Today's studying pronouns became a lot easier because you had already been suffering from memorizing them for a couple of days. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. I explained that stuff to you today, but it was already sitting in your head for a little bit. This is what I'm doing for you. I'm preparing you for tomorrow because we're going to do this, but I'm already settling it in your mind a little bit. These are 11 words. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. I'm going to explain this in detail tomorrow, but listen carefully. There are 3 kinds of words in Arabic. They are ism, fi'il, harf. This is our first group of harf. This is our first group of what? They're really cool. They're called the harf of jar. They're called what again? The harf of jar. They only have one. The thing about harf is they're great. Harf are great. They have no properties. They have no status. They have no number. They have no gender. They have no type. They have no nothing. They just have a job, one job. You go to harf and you say, hey, listen, harf, I know you don't make sense unless what? Something comes after you, harf of jar. Your only job, he says, yes, sir, I'm ready. Your only job is to make sure whoever comes after you becomes jar. That's all you got to do. Just make sure you jarify anybody you touch. Who's going to jarify? Ba, who else? Ta, who else? Kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. You come across these guys in the Quran and there's an ism after them. That ism is going to be what? It's going to be jar. Look at this. When we start eating our food, we say what? Bi. Is that one of them? It's one of them, isn't it? So what happened to ism? Bismi, because B said, hey, I'm right here. You got a jar. Bismi. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That's why ismi is said. We don't say ismu. We don't say isma. We say ismi. And why do we say it? Because the harf of jar said, you got a jar. You got to be jarred. Because I'm a harf of jar. This is what I do. This is my job, sir. Okay? We read, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ أَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِحِجَارَةٍ مِّن سِجِيلٍ فَجَعَلَهُمْ ka. Is kaf one of them? Bata is one of them. What happened to asf? Ka'asfin. Because ba. You see somebody in the masjid and you look at their face and you say, A'udhu billahi. Min, is min part of this group? I don't believe you. Say the whole group. Bata, kaf, lam, waw. Min is a member, certified member. Minash shaitani. Because min made it shaitani. Okay? That same person who you looked at when you walked into the masjid, they left. You say, Alhamdu li. Is lam part of this group? Ba, ta, kaf. Alhamdu lillahi. Lillahi. Okay. There's a really cute boy. He gives the iqamah sometimes in the masjid on the mic. He says, Hayya ala salatu. That's what he says. Hayya ala salatu. Is ala part of this? Ba, ta. Say it with me. I already know it. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an. Ala has one job, just one job. What is ala's job? Jarrafai. And what does this cute little boy do? Hayya ala salah. Two. And ala says, la. It's supposed to be hayya ala salah. Ti. Because of ala. Allahumma salli. Ala. Harf of what? Harf of what? So any word that comes after harf of jar, what should happen? So how do you say Muhammad after ala? That's why you say Muhammadin. Because ala says, I'm a harf of jar. I've got to jarrafy whatever comes after me. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin. Surah Laylatul Qadr, right? The Surah of the Ayatul Qadr. Salamun hiya hatta. Is hatta a member of this group? Is he a platinum member? Yeah? Prove it to me. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i. Matla'i. Why did it become matla'i? Harf jar. So now we know two reasons why a word should be jar in Arabic. Two reasons why a word should be jar. Either it's jar because it got beat up by a harf of jar, or it's jar because it's a mudaf ilayh. Okay? And there's a big difference between them. When it's a mudaf ilayh, the mudaf is an ism and the mudaf ilayh is an ism. But when it's beat up by a harf of jar, the first word is not a mudaf, the first word is a harf. A harf is not an ism. An ism, a mudaf can only be an ism. So it's just a harf of jar and then its victim. The harf of jar and its victim. Notice hatta matla' al-fajr. Hatta is a harf jar. What did it do to matla'? Made a jar. What happened to matla'? It's light, no al. And al-fajr became jar. What's the relationship between matla' al-fajr? That's mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Okay? That's mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Cool, huh? This is getting pretty sweet. Last thing, just help me out here. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Ka. Have you learned ka today? What's ka? What's ka? Come from where? What does it mean? Wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina. Na. What's na? Comes from where? Guide us. Ihdina. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. Which means what? them. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Pronouns all over the place. حرف of jar all over the place. When you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, how many حرف of jar in أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم? How many حرف of jar? 2. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس. Is min one of them? What's going to happen to shar because of min? من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس. Is fi one of them? Bata kaf lam waw min fi. What should happen to sudur? How are you going to read it? Fi sudurin nas min al jinnati wan nas. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li. Li is a harf of jar or no? Bata kaf lam. What should happen to the word Rabb? That's why fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Cool, huh? Now you're really going to enjoy Salah today. Go fire your brains up. Barakallahu li wa lakum. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah.